Welcome to Coffee with a Closer. I'm Michelle Garibay, your host, and we're sitting down with top producing real estate agents, learning some of the secrets behind their success. And today we have a real treat for you. I've got a longtime real estate veteran, Kim Keefe with Compass. Thank you, Kim, for being
Well,
here today.
it's my pleasure, of course.
Like in any crazy real estate world, mortgage world, sometimes we have to make adapts, and we had to adapt a few things. So this is our first recording that we're doing this way, and I'm super excited to kind of see how this one turns out.
Well, and I'm thrilled that you've made accommodations. And as we learned through COVID, right, we can do hard things.
You know what? And that's what it's about, right? It's just about learning and adapting.
Right.
So,
Well, thank
before
you.
we get started into our interview today, I really would love to know, tell me a little bit about your background. Like, tell me about you. How did you get into real estate?
Sure. That's an easy, fun story. I was actually, I just kind of had run into somebody. In fact, went to school for exercise physiology. I was running a health club and I ran into a friend and he's like, "Hey, you should think about real estate." And I said, "No, no, no, no. You work a lot of nights and weekends, don't you?" Because that's what I did at the health club. And he's like, "Well, yeah." And I'm like, "No, no, I'm good. I'm just going to work at the health club, working nights and weekends." And then fast forward, I had just kind of worked my way. I loved marketing. And so out of the health club, I had kind of taken on this marketing role. How do you draw attention to a gym with no money? Well, segue into real estate 101.
Yeah.
From there, I went to the American Cancer Society and I met some really fabulous people who were not only donating time, but donating their money. And so I just started developing this database of people.
Okay.
And from one industry to the next, I bought my own CRM before I was a realtor so that I could keep track of all these great people
Okay.
and the connection that I had to them. So ultimately, I ended up working for Remax, Northern Illinois, the regional office there.
Okay.
And I always say I kind of did it backwards because I worked for the regional office and then I was recruited to run an actual real estate office. And then one day I went to work and I had gotten fired from my job. And my boss said, "You know what? You need to sell real estate." So here we are. At least I had a database.
And you've been you've been just a little successful, right, in the real estate thing. Awesome.
My former boss would say that he had created a monster when he when he helped train me.
Amazing. Amazing. So, how was the transition for you going from, doing what you were doing into real estate?
For the most part, it was really natural, as
Okay.
I started just kind of collecting and learning. And then when I managed the office too, I really learned from the inside out how to support agents and what they could, what they needed and how to represent a property.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was licensed and was doing everything that the agents would do and really just, again, just making them look great. So tactically speaking, I was ready. I will tell you emotionally, I don't think you're ever ready to
Yeah.
say, "You used to have a paycheck and eeks, now you're on commission."
Yeah.
So that part was a lot scary.
I think that's a hard part for a lot of people. I know myself, I was a mortgage assistant for a lot of my career, and it was hard to kind of make that step to become a loan officer because you are commission only. So you don't know if you're going to get a paycheck that month, and that can be kind of scary.
Right.
In another way, I think it can kind of drive you too. So when you know that, hey, there's a lot riding on this, I have to make this work, I think it kind of helps give you that sometimes confidence, I guess, to just say, "Hey, I'm just going to go out there and give it all I got."
Right, exactly. And I know for me too, back then, because, the salary is less than things I have to pay for and do now, I require much more, but I had to think through that. Like, what do I need to make? How many homes do I need to sell in a month in order to pay my bills? Okay, back then, one house.
Right?
Cool. Now, fast forward, I have to sell a couple more.
Yeah.
But it was just, internally a way to look at that. And so I that's what I say to my new agents, that what do you have? What are your bills? First of all, how do you get rid of your bills? But the bills that you have, can you get by with selling one house a month? Good. That's 12. Okay. That's easy. Come on. Let's sell two houses a month. And now you can start saving for the rainy day and
Yeah.
having a surplus.
Yeah, and that's a good point because it's important for you to know those numbers, right? You need to know, how much money do I need to make, and to make that money, what activities do I need to do, right? How many conversations do I need to have?
Exactly. And that's coaching 101 right there, breaking it down to how much you get paid on each typical deal, how many phone calls before you get someone in that spot where they're willing to say, yes, let's write a contract. And how many people do you need in your database, or how many people do you need to contact to get the one person to answer the phone?
Yeah, right, right. So, how long have you been in real estate?
So I'm over 21 years now
Okay.
selling. So I did get my license probably 6 or 7 years prior to that,
Okay.
and then, like I said, worked in that environment where I could use it as a licensed assistant. But 21 years in the trenches.
Amazing. What are some of your non-negotiables that you've kind of learned along the years that you practice in your daily activities?
I think when you first start and you're just trying to do everything to keep this ball rolling, and you might have somebody under contract, but where's the next one coming from? So it was super easy to really just not take care of ourselves the way we typically would. If you had a 9 to 5 job, well, you could get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and get your workout in
Mm-hmm.
and get your breakfast in and do all the things that you would do on a regular, a regimented schedule. And
Right.
in real estate, it's really easy to say, every day seems to be a work day. And I love when people say, oh, well, enjoy your weekend. And we're like, yep, it sounds like another Monday tomorrow.
What's that, right?
Right? A weekend. So it's also funny. I think about that too. That when you have an appointment scheduled, and let's say it's on Sunday, and then your appointment cancels, or the house goes under contract, and so you can't see it, and you're like, I have a canceled appointment. Woo! I feel like it's the only industry where when someone cancels on you, you're so excited because you get an hour off now.
You get a little bit of your time back, right?
Exactly. But for me, really staying focused on getting my scheduled workouts in, getting my nutrition in, and so many times, grabbing a protein bar and having the snacks in the car for when you're out and about, and running from one to the next. That part has been really tough over the years, but I
Mm-hmm.
think that again, planning for that, it's all just about being strategic with how you set up your day, and
Right.
sometimes saying no.
Mm.
I'm actually, it took me 20 years, I think, but I can finally say, you know what, this might not be a good fit, or I'm sorry, I can't fit this in today,
Right.
and I'm happy to do it, next Tuesday. But uh,
Yeah.
it's good to be in a place where you
Yeah.
can really say, I do have control over what the outcome looks like and how many
Yeah.
appointments I can schedule in a day, and having a team that I can rely on to say, I'm not available, but I have 3 other agents I can send.
Yeah. So, how many agents do you have on your team?
So 3 licensed
Okay.
agents, and they are assisting both with listings now and also, of course, with buyers.
Okay. And we saw each other at a Tom Ferry event not too long ago, right? And it was
We
your
sure did.
daughter that was with you?
My daughter is one of the licensed agents now. Yes,
Okay.
very excited about that.
Tell me about that. How did she come to you that she wanted to get into the business, or is it something that you encouraged?
All the years that she has been sitting in the back seat of the car and listening to conversations and attending showing appointments. There were listing appointments. She actually sat in the
Hmm.
car and played and entertained herself in the car while I was on a listing appointment. And
Yeah.
there, I don't feel bad about it. We did what we did because we had to
Yeah.
do what we do.
Sure.
But she was entertained. She was good. She was happy. And so, long story short, she goes away to college, which is great. I would have encouraged her to do that anyway. She comes back, and she kind of surprised me, of all things. He
Okay.
says, "Yes, guess what, Mom? I'm getting my license." I'm like, what?
Really? So it's
And
just a
oh yeah,
surprise.
surprise.
Okay.
And I'm like, who does that? Who surprises their mom like that? And I mean, had every intention of coming to work with me and for me.
Hmm.
And I do every now and then shake my head and say, I probably could have given you some advice, like you need to save more money. This isn't just, start on day one and be really super successful. So we need to plan for this. But
Yeah.
sometimes they do what they do. And so she surprised me. And here we are. She's 8 months on the team now. She's making money and she's hustling for business and she's meeting people and doing all the things that we prescribed, for agents to get started.
Yeah.
Crazy kid.
Speaking of like the little things that you do when you're kind of newer in the business, what are some things that you would recommend maybe somebody that is new getting into the business that they work on?
hmm So, like Kate has seen me through the years that we've been very involved in the community. And
Hmm.
primarily the reason is because it's a great, you know, low barrier entrance way to meet people.
Sure.
And so the chambers of commerce love,
Hmm.
having folks join in, be engaged, learn about other businesses, meet people.
Hmm.
And that has been a great starting point for me in my business. I volunteer quite frequently at this point, I'm on boards and things, but just showing up for fundraisers, just volunteering, um, really just being a part of the community and helping to each one of these, aspects of our nonprofits, that we have locally. Every time whether we give money or we spend time with them, we're enhancing the services that they provide for our community. It makes our community a better place to live. It
Right.
attracts other people to our community because we're serving the populations that need just a little bit of help every now and then. And I often call it self-serving, but we're working together because we're working with other folks, other
Hmm.
volunteers that are sharing the passions that we have, and again, helping to find solutions. And out of that, I think really is helping me just in fine tuning really what my interests are outside of real estate
Yeah,
because it can be really all consuming if you let it. So
absolutely.
who's who's Kim outside of, selling homes? She can be fun. I always tell that to my team. I can be fun. It's just that we're here. We're very serious, and I'm always teaching and
Yeah.
and mentoring, but we can be fun.
Speaking of fun, what do you like to do when you're not working? Or
Mm,
is there a time when you're not working?
there is, and I used to say volleyball, but
Okay.
my knees have said otherwise. And so my new passion, although I don't think it actually applies to my knees because they're still bad, but pickleball is the
Oh,
new favorite release of energy.
okay.
So pickleball or golf, or maybe talking about fundraising for an art project.
Yeah, I've always wanted to try pickleball. I haven't done it, but I heard it's kind of like the new golf. It's like where people go and they network and they socialize, right?
Oh, I'm telling you, like there you go. There's advice number one. Tip is that pickleball. I have met more people playing pickleball in the last 2 years than I have met in my entire life playing volleyball.
Really?
And so many of the environments that you show up in with pickleball, it's all about switching partners.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're at open play, you're playing with, this gentleman one game and this gal the next game. I mean, like you're constantly running around in circles and mixing and mingling, and you're playing against different partners every time. And of course, you have to be able to laugh at yourself playing pickleball because it looks so easy.
Yeah.
If you watch what the pros do, like I feel like I look like a pro on the court, and then
Yeah.
and then the reality is we all could use some additional lessons. But it is
Sure.
so fun, so social, so fun, and I get to hit the ball hard. you know
Fun.
things like that.
It's good exercise, right? It's a win-win.
It is good exercise. Yeah, exactly. So highly recommend a lesson or an open play or something.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So kind of going back. So we saw the Tom Ferry seminar. Are you a big Tom Ferry fan?
I've been in Tom Ferry coaching for quite some time, probably over 10 years now.
Really?
Um, yeah, I should know it all, but
Okay.
every week, and I do share my coaching calls with my team.
Okay.
So we do kind of spread the wealth so that the team can pick and choose, what's important to them
Yeah.
and get another perspective on, my coach. And my particular coach, he runs a team. He owns a company, runs a team. He does still sell, and so he has kind of a great, continuing experienced perspective. And so he's been really helpful. He's saved me money. He's helped me negotiate with other just assets of,
Mm-hmm.
facets of my business.
Yeah.
So every time I turn around and I'm like, maybe I've had enough. And then he provides this great, pearl of wisdom. And I'm like, well, that just saved me some money and, or excited my team or really helped us to, I think, just move our business forward
Mm-hmm.
and introduce ideas sometimes that we didn't know about or we didn't think were important, but to really have one more person to just kind of bounce ideas off of. And I think for real estate agents and probably lenders for that, aspect as well, that it can feel like you're in this alone.
Yeah.
And we all mostly work remote. I don't
Mm-hmm.
go to my corporate office. I work from one of my home offices or,
Mm-hmm.
our we have a branch. So
Right.
I work from my personal branch. And so you get stuck in what you get stuck in. And so it's nice to have one more perspective on what else is going out in the big world.
Yeah, I think ideas and stuff are important, but sometimes it's you also have to put action, and I think for me that's what coaching does. Is it kind of not only gives you the ideas, but it also helps you kind of stay accountable, right?
Absolutely. That's, with accountability, we can all do so much more.
Yeah. Are there any like practices that you use to either maybe your agents or even yourself to stay accountable?
So that's always, I mean, I think that's the one thing we can learn the most from still. And that's probably why I'm still in coaching, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that before every coaching call, I have to go back through my notes and say, okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's coming up. What did I say I was going to do? And how much time do I have to get it done?
Yeah.
So I think that's a struggle in general. I will say that the one practice my team uses is that we do a daily huddle,
Okay.
and almost every morning we meet for at least 15 minutes, and it feels like they're often a half hour long, but we meet on Google Meet
Mm-hmm.
and we go through transactions, new listings, new deals. We go through what we're doing that day, open houses, and we go through our plan. What are we committing to? Where are
Mm-hmm.
we going? What trees are we shaking? And recently, I haven't been requiring calls and follow-up calls, except if we're having an event. But we've been seeing great success with agents who have been taking the time, reaching out, and and she said, first thing Haley said, she had made all these calls and text messages and left messages, and she felt really, pretty upset at the end of the day that like no one's calling her back and no real answers and all the things. And then it was like 3 days later, boom, boom, boom,
Mm-hmm.
one after another. Everybody started to finally just start connecting with her, and she's like, oh,
It
doesn't
does
that
work.
make for a great day? Right. It works. So we very much, we host a lot of events at our branch, and so that's the easiest way of all for me to connect with people to say, "Hey, we're having a derby party, and don't worry, we have hats. So just come here and enjoy, and we're going to watch the derby race and catch up." So it's one party after another at the church house. There's always something going on.
So tell me a little bit more about that, because I know we've spoken before and you've kind of said that events are a big part of your business plan. Take me through that. So you plan an event, you do them at your office, you said, or?
Yes. So my husband and I, a few years ago, had rented office space on the square. And
Okay.
so it was a second floor. There were 24 long steps up to the top floor,
Okay.
but it was a place that we could stay occasionally. It was kind of a very urban loft office space with a bedroom. And so we would stay there every now and then, and the team would meet there. But
Okay.
as the team got bigger, it was getting harder and harder to
Hmm.
really kind of keep the separate space. So we found a church that was being offered for sale.
Okay.
And we, my husband and I bought the church. And it's funny because the first time I was there, I remember walking in and saying, interesting. I've never been in this building before. And wow, I'm sure glad it's not my listing. And I walked out. And then the second time we were looking and looking, couldn't find anything. And I'm like, you know, I think, I think I could make this work. So I walked through the church again. And I'm like, walked in the front door. There was a reading room. I'm like, office team, private reception. Yes. Nursery. That becomes my office. Okay. This sanctuary. Yep. Living room, dining room, family, living, dining, kitchen. Perfect. We'll back the kitchen up to the bathroom. And yeah, perfect. Okay. Sunday school room. We take this partition out. Boom. Bedroom. Boom, boom. Hey, I'm like, honey, you got to come see this place. He's like, no way, we're not buying a church. And I'm like, but it works. It was pretty fabulous. So the the sanctuary is our kitchen, living, dining room, but we
Okay.
use that space for events. And so the Derby party, we've had so many events there. So we've had a Woman of the Year celebration for the Woodstock professional business women. We had the first one was kind of on the back end of COVID. So we had that on the front lawn. And my neighbors think I'm nuts. I mean, I have, a karaoke microphone thing, Bluetooth microphone. So we're,
Yeah.
spreading to the world of Woodstock, as they're driving by, and we're giving an award for Miss, Woman of the Year.
That's
So
amazing.
it's what next? We've had the Derby party. We've had a couple of those. They do a lighting of the square where they bring Santa Claus and they flip all the lights on the square the day or the Friday after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And so we have a lighting of the square party. So that's a huge event. I mean, and we'll send out like 500 invitations, and thank goodness not all 500 people come. But we will shout out from the rooftops that, hey, here's our next event. And
Yeah.
out of that, every single time, there's 3 or 4 pieces of business that come out of every single event.
Okay.
And again, it's just with, you know, invitations, good requests, inviting people and making sure they feel welcome,
Right.
follow up afterwards to say, we missed you or we saw you or whatever applies. And then, by the way, here's our next event.
Yeah. So how often did you say you do them?
We probably do 8 a year.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So each month there's a different event, and they're not necessarily all at the church house, but we'll do about 8. And sometimes there, might be movies in the park, or we've done swimming events before. Just yeah, just kind of related to the season of the year.
Yeah, I think some people would like to do events and they maybe get nervous or they don't want to do them because they're afraid, well, what if happens if nobody shows up? Did you ever have those fears or have you ever had an event where nobody showed up?
Well, yeah, we've had one where we our first swimming event, and they're hard to get swimming events in because they're public pools. So you have to work around the public pool hours.
Hmm.
So I think our first and only swimming event was in July, like on a Friday night. It started at like 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And you know what? We had a bunch of food, and we had our team and maybe 2 other people.
Okay,
And
okay.
that was it. But it was our first try. I sometimes it feels like it's maybe the type of clients you have, where if you
Mm-hmm.
don't have clients with a bunch of kids, and if you do have a bunch of kids, are they
Mm-hmm.
coming to swim at 8 o'clock on Friday night? Nah, I mean, I'm going to bed at 8:30 and we're getting
Sure.
ready for bed at
Sure.
8:30. So I'm not going to that event either. So we
Yeah.
just decided on that one that, it's not going to work. And we've just pivoted from there to say, okay, we tried it. It didn't work. We had some extra food, but you know what? We invited other people from the pool there and said, hey, anybody hungry?
You know what? That's a good point because I did like a coffee event not too long ago, and there's power in the invitation, right? So you have power in letting people
Right.
know that you're thinking of them, but not so much
Hmm.
important to like who came from that invitation, but also, we were just like talking to people in the coffee shop. They're like, "Hey, we're doing this event. Come join us," and that's giving you new contacts to meet, right?
Right, right, right. And it says, yeah, who's this team? What are they doing? And wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And if you'd had too many people, then it's like, oh my gosh, Michelle's doing an event here.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So yeah, I'm a firm believer in the power of the invitation, and really just trying to make people feel special
Mm-hmm.
when they are invited to it. But I don't freak out about how many come or don't come. We get a lot of interaction when some people actually RSVP too.
Okay.
And then we get to have those engagements. So
Yeah.
that works out too.
Amazing. Amazing. Before we wrap up, I do have a few rapid fire questions for you.
Oh,
So
okay.
the podcast is called Coffee with a Closer. What is your go-to coffee drink, or what is your drink of choice?
Oh, I am a black bold coffee and nothing in it. Just could be pretty boring, I guess. But in college, I learned that if I didn't have a refrigerator, I didn't have any milk for my coffee, and then sugar costs money too. So I was a cheap college student. I learned how to drink it black and never went back.
Okay, I like that. Um, what's one piece of advice that you've been given that still sticks to you today?
Hmm. I think that, and I think it's apropos for this business, really, that it's just so important to have a thick skin and just
Mhm.
to continually remind myself that no one really cares about what you think they care. I mean, they're not worried about you.
Yeah.
So just my rule is to just be me authentically, because, if people aren't concerned that I wore this black shirt in my last podcast, right? It's like, here it
Yeah.
is. It's what happens.
Yep.
So I think, yeah.
Absolutely. I know you're a fan of coaching. So, what is maybe one real estate book or one book that a real estate agent you would recommend them to read?
I'm kind of a big Darren Hardy fan too. So,
Okay.
um, I think I'm going to go with the compound effect, and
Okay.
that these small little things, these habits that we can do and build on and build
Mm-hmm.
on and build on, and that I think that really speaks to how I built my career and my life and my
Mm-hmm.
because every day I want to get just a little bit better. And no matter what you're doing, if you're saving money or, and putting it away for retirement, or if
Mm-hmm.
you are, building a daily habit of, stretching every day because it's good for us, right? That compounding those efforts over, day after day or week after week, just how we can move, big goals with
Right.
just these small little tidbits
Small
of
little
things we can
tidbits.
do each day. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Again, I really do appreciate you taking the time out of your day. If somebody wanted to reach out to you, what would be the best way for them to get in contact with you?
Text is probably my favorite form of contact. Otherwise, 815-790-4852.
All right. Perfect. Well, thank you again for your time today. I do appreciate it. I look forward to continuing to watch all your success.
Awesome. Thank you for your time, Michelle. And I look forward to getting you to know you better and all your successes as well.
Awesome. Thank you for tuning in to Coffee with the Closer. I'm Michelle Garibay, your host, and you can reach me at 262 496 4582.